I got scared twice. First, you guys were brutal as an audience after lunch, which means I'm dead. So I will try to. You guys love this. It's startups. You got to love the startups. So that's good stuff. Second was the science degree. I've got an advanced high school degree in poli-sci and English lit. So I am the least educated one in the room. So you've got company now. I wore the velour jacket, which means it's Innovation Pitch Challenge. Yay! Come on, Kermit the Frog. Yay! Okay. We've done, how many years now? Is this 5 or 4? 5, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And why I bring that up is you have all seen some amazing companies that started. They didn't start here, but they got their kickoff to fundraising here. So Ayrton Energy started, first money that you brought in was through us and DEC, and they've gone on to raise a Series B in hydrogen storage. We did Splice and Connect last year one, and they just closed out a $1.7 million round run by, who's the founding investor? Avatar, thank you. The Avatar Energy Group is the funder. So this has actually been a really good spot for companies to kick off, to launch, to meet you, some of their potential HR people, as well as their customers. So I love doing this. It's one of the favorite things I do in a year, and we're going to get going because we're behind. We got to give you some logistics. We have a panel of judges. You are allowed to participate because we have talked about that if the judges don't have a question, we'll turn it over to you in the floor. But put your hand up, I'll grunt, which means I saw your hand. It doesn't mean I'm asking the question. It means if we run out of time, we will ordain you worthy of some mic time. How's that? It's not guaranteed. On top of that, the judges are going to be doing some marking, and they've got a whole marking thing, but you have to do it as well. At the end of the 2 days, you're going to be asked for the People's Choice Award. So we would like you to be paying attention for the 2 days. We'd like you to interact. And the other thing I like to always say before we get going and introduce the judges, in case you thought I wasn't going to do that, be warned, these companies are kind of bearing their soul in front of you, and it's a difficult thing to do. And one of the things you do as an angel investor, the least interesting thing you do is actually write checks. The most important thing you do is how do you take somebody from the beginning and put them on their journey. So you're all here today to put these companies on their journey. So I'd love for you to be thinking, how can I help this company? Who can I introduce them to? What resources do they need that I have at my disposal? And then if you decide you want to join me in writing a $25,000 check at the end, come talk to me. We've actually had a number of DEC members over the years who've come in and participated in that $25,000 prize. So that's an option, but my preference is for all of you to participate on how you're going to leave here today knowing you built 7 companies. So with that, let's meet our judges. Yay! Let's meet our judges. Yay! Okay. The velour jacket needs the green skin and the Kermit the Frog eyes too, I think. That would help. I'm going to start at home, and actually probably ladies first, right? So Lisa, then Sebastian. We'll go around from there. Oh, we're going to need a whole bunch of mics. I'll take them all. Let's give the 2 to this table, because we'll need 2 here. And let's stick 1 at the back so it can be running around with all the peeps. Lisa, take it away.
It's not working, is it? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa. I work for MKB. We're a growth equity investor based in Montreal. So I'm here to judge this pitch competition, and don't hesitate to come and say hi. I've spoken to a lot of people with very, very interesting backgrounds and also that are doing some great stuff. So yeah, feel free to come and ping me.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Sebastian from Hydro-Québec, the Research Center. I'm head of the information system and high performance computing. So also quantum is a field of interest for me. Yeah, that's it. We sell electricity, so I guess.
Hey everybody, I'm Keith Cleland, co-founder and CEO of Aquacell Energy. We are helping to decarbonize the electricity system with our long-duration saltwater-based flow batteries. Fun story, this come full circle for me. We pitched at this competition 2 years ago and coming back full circle on the judging side.
Hi, Brent Harris with Iguana Technologies. We manufacture residential energy storage batteries, and yeah, excited to be part of the judging panel for this competition.
That's great. Give me a hand, thanks. That's good. What Keith failed to mention, which is super important for startup things, is he actually got the People's Choice Award because all of you were smarter than the bozos that picked the other company. I don't even think the other company's around anymore. So yeah, and so Keith's gone on to do a few $1 million here and there and some great tests with Medicine Hat. So we got that one wrong one year. Oops. And Keith never rubs my nose in it, so I always bring it up so you guys all know that. So
Not yet.
That's great. This is cool. Our first presenter, we're ready to go. They're going to get 8 and 8, which is 8 for pitch and 8 for questions. We're doing 4 today, 3 tomorrow, just so you know what you can expect. This is not Peter's first rodeo. I met Trex AI last year at this competition, and they've come a long way and decided it was time to come back. I'm thrilled they did. I saw the deck. I'm super impressed, Peter, how you guys, come on. Yeah, super impressed how you guys have done over the last year. It's going to be fun for everybody who saw you in Whistler to see how far you've come in a year.
I hope so.
Yeah,
And
cheers.
for anyone who hasn't seen us, get ready. So, yep.
Just before you start, I apologize. We're not going to be rude. There's no air horn. I don't have a sheep herder hook. But what you're going to see is I'll slowly start to walk up the stairs. Peter will start to sweat. I will then put my arm around him. I'll be his best brother. And what I've said is that's when we'll stop. And his first question will be what he didn't get. So we'll try to make this relaxed, but the air horn would be way more fun.
It would be more fun.
Good luck.
Unfortunately, you're not going to use it because this thing is going to be 6 minutes. 6, 7 minutes. I like questions more than I like the actual pitch, so let's get into it. You've been, like, I'm Peter. I'm from T-Rex AI. This is our second time on the stage, like Randy was saying, but we've made some advancements this year that I want to share with all of you, and for those who haven't seen my deck, let's get started. So our main product, Alex, enables the connection of more customers to residential distribution grids with no infrastructure cost. And the most recent projects that we've done have shown that we've been able to add about 30% more connections to the grid without building anything at all. We're living through the breaking of what we call the traditional capital model of utility companies. Now, let me explain, because that's a bold statement, but utilities build to satisfy peak. We probably all know this. And they use forecasts to estimate this. Now, then they ask a regulator, hey, I need to build this stuff. I need this much money. And they do this about every 4 years. But now these forecasts are wrong. The last decade has seen a dramatic shift in the way that energy is being used and produced. And this has resulted in the load profile you see in orange. And you can see in the dotted line that we're building to that peak. Now, the rapid pace of change has made it hard, but not impossible for utilities to keep up. However, to add insult to injury, during the pandemic, there were supply chain shocks, which hit our electricity components quite hard. We had lead times that went from 1 year to 4 years. That caused a price shock from 3 to 5 times for these components. Now, we haven't actually seen these prices go down or the lead times go down to pre-pandemic levels, and the recent tariffs really haven't helped with that price either. And the final nail in this coffin, that most people probably know, is the data center. Utilities are now being asked to effectively hook up a small city in places where they never planned for, not in their wildest dreams. Or they're going to face political pressure on their regulators who are then going to tell them that they're going to have to do this anyway. Now, our product helps utilities flatten these load profiles at the edge of the grid, allowing them to put in more connections in other places of the grid and to use their infrastructure dollars wisely, which is shown in the green chart. So this vision all started in a lab at the University of Alberta in 2017. So 3 of us met in graduate school, and we were taught reinforcement learning by Dr. Rich Sutton, who's a Turing Award winner in reinforcement learning, the godfather of the field. And we were all fascinated by this self-learning approach to intelligence and sequential decision making, and immediately started using it to solve those aforementioned problems. And the first thing we did was 4 years of fundamental research in a lab, before we even thought of a startup. In 2021, we secured the full rights to our technology and incorporated as TRX AI. Within the first 2 years, we got our first paid pilot project, and we finished that as we were graduating grad school. Since then, we've secured 2 more pilot projects, and we got picked as finalists for PG&E's Innovation Pitch Fest this year, which is the largest utility in California. It's 5.5 million meters. In addition to paid pilot projects, this year we identified a great go-to-market strategy. It's deploying on the next generation of smart meters, which all have computers in them now. And all of these smart meters are currently going through lab tests at most mid-sized utilities, like today. We've secured an MOU with EDMI, a top 4 meter venturing company, to explore this go-to-market further. And on 2026, we already have 3 additional utilities that are looking to do projects with us, 2 in Canada, 1 in Arizona. So it's been a really busy year for us. And it all comes down to how we're applying our technology and giving services from it. These services are premise-level load forecasting, DER, capacity forecasting for that premise, and then orchestration, all in real time and all automated. So the large business model here is really simple. It's going to be a subscription per meter per year. And we can charge utilities about $2 to $5 for the forecasting, which they will happily pay because right now they're paying fines on all of the misses and bad forecasts that they do every day. DER capacity forecasting allows utilities to operate their demand response programs more effectively, reducing customers' fatigue and customer dropout. And we can charge them $5 to $10 per meter per year for that information. And then finally, orchestration, which is the automated real-time coordination of DERs in a very localized area, which is what we allow utilities to squeeze that extra energy through the existing lines. We can get them to pay about $100 to $200 because they're already paying that for their current demand response programs, so we might as well just price it into that. Now, moving services to the edge, where they live on the meter, is new. Utilities and vendors are still trying to understand which services would go on such a meter, and which current challenges and which future challenges these might be able to tackle, because meters have incredibly long lifespans. And in the body of really valuable services ends up being very, very complex because they're solving complex problems. And all the rest of, the majority of these services are being pushed into the cloud right now. However, there are services that will benefit from being as close as possible to the metering endpoint, where they can act quickly. The real problem here is that the meter has the computational intelligence of 1/10 of your iPhone. So that means that these AMI 2.0 meters are actually going to only be able to serve about 1, maybe 2 of these high intelligence types of services. The current plan, therefore, is that the meter vendors will make all the utilities choose which service they want, either forecasting, DER capacity forecasting, orchestration, and all the others will be in cloud services. And this means that a software company like myself, which offers many apps, would be leaving money on the table. Unless you're clever, and you happen to be a team of experts in reinforcement learning, and you happen to be electrical engineers, and you happen to have a penchant for entrepreneurship. So Alex, which is our software, is an AI-driven software platform that is a result of an end-to-end machine learning pipeline. Our tech stack within this pipeline allows us to take 3 complex tasks and put them into a single runtime that's lightweight and runs on the meter. This gives our utilities the ability to squeeze way more out of their fancy new meters than other utilities. This means that Alex can instead capture the cumulative value of these 3 verticals, which makes Alex a classic killer app because we serve 3 services with 1 product. We're currently raising $2 million in 2026 to execute on the projects that I mentioned that we have, as well as to double the team to have 3 new technical hires. If you want to see our demo, please reach out. I'd love to show you. We also have more information on our website, and let's get to it.
You stay at the mic. I'm loud enough. Can you guys hear me at the back? Yeah. It's mountains to the sea level. I've got that. I think I'd like to say I was drinking too much with a Nook, but it's like so. As long as you can hear me, I'm going micless. Well done, my friends.
Thank you.
Last year when we were talking, we spent a lot of time at Whistler together.
We did.
Again, dumbest guy in the room. I'm having a competition with our MC. I asked these guys, look, meters are getting replaced so slowly. Why don't you just be a hardware player too? So I want to ask you this year, as you've had time to think about it, why not just be the meter guy?
Well, hardware sales are hard, as I'm sure many hardware companies know. And utility companies, they really don't like change. So they have established meter vendors. And these meter vendors got smart. They thought, hold on a second. I can put a computer in this, and then I can make a cloud platform, and I can charge out the wazoo for data hosting. And all I have to do is make some shiny new gadget. That was what they thought. But then they got even cleverer. They said, hold on, why do I have to make this? I'll just make an app store. Other people will make it. Smarter people. People who don't mind making software.
And now you're just the apps guy in the app store.
I'd rather do that, because hardware is hard. And software is where I like to do. I'm an AI engineer. I did my work in my AI. I want to do AI. I do not want to build hardware.
Great answer, by the way. Sorry if you're a hardware person in the room, but yeah, it kind of sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah. Any questions from the judges? No? Okay. Any questions from the judges is what I said. So, you're trying to record this. Oh, man, I hate this thing. Keep going, Lisa. Yeah.
Maybe just a quick question about the accuracy of your predictions. Have you tried? Well, do you have data around that?
Yes. So our accuracy is actually very good. We're getting about 2%, I think, for 24-hour forecast. So the way we do this is we forecast. So I guess I should probably show you what we do. And that might make it easier for you to understand how we do it. I want this guy. Okay, so we have our so reinforcement learning, quick primer. It's how we learn, right? We try something, we get a feedback signal, and we learn from that. Put your hand on the stove, you learn not to put your hand on the stove. Real simple. This is reinforcement learning. This is a reinforcement learning agent, and we're able to do three things out of it. Now, in academic speak, we're training a policy, which is a way that you act in the real world. However, we can make these auxiliary tasks that pop out as a function of having to learn this. We train for orchestration. So our AI is designed from the get-go to run and control a bunch of these DERs in a place. That means that it has to be proficient at both forecasting DER capacity and forecasting the load, because otherwise it would be a bad orchestrator. We can just pop these out using our architecture and use these as a service. As a result of this, we can predict multiple time steps ahead of time. And we can do this every time step. So right now you can think of it as like every hour, or if you're a utility that's doing every 15 minutes. Our accuracy right now is 2% at the highest, like at the 24-hour outreach. It's between 1.3 and I'd say 0.7 for the really close times. And we're really quite proud of it.
Yeah. Brent?
You got your three value streams there. The first two are forecasting.
Yes.
I guess the first
It turns out people are really excited about that.
Is that done at the meter level,
Yes.
or is it at the aggregate level?
So the cool thing is it's at the meter level. So because, well, our AI lives on the meter, so it might as well forecast for each premise. And then we aggregate it up. So you can get service transformers, you can get feeder transformers, and you can go all the way up to your substation and get real-time, every time step forecasts for those areas.
And then what does the orchestration look like?
So we like to, the whole point of orchestration is to keep as much of the generated energy that is being generated in a neighborhood, say like 50 houses, 20 houses, and keep it there, right? Because if you deploy a system that is this decentralized, I think I'm in the right room, right? And this distributed, you'll get network effects for the rest of the grid. So instead of trying to do a big centralized or even a small centralized on like a feeder transformer, instead of trying to do it from that perspective, we only want to optimize the coordination of assets in a very small area.
I was just asking, how are you going to do that? Are you going to interact with each of these? I guess it
Oh yes, yeah.
edges
so
into the hardware side of the question.
the meters, so meter vending companies are already working on the connection between the DERs that are out there and their meters, because it's in their best interest to offer the ability for these third parties to also interface with their meters. So they're looking at all the IEEE 23/5 and all that fun stuff. That's also why I don't want to do hardware, because I don't have to worry about that. The meter companies are already spending money on that, and the utilities are already buying these meters.
Looks like we're going to have time for a question from the floor. So I'll go there. I'm a floor, not a judge. Yeah, yeah.
Part of the common folks.
I'm gonna ask you a question first. I was loading up the room, and you guys jumped on it quick, so I was surprised. So give me a half second. I want to go back to all your pilot tests, and I want to ask the money grubbing question.
I love it.
So it looks like if ATCO, the California guys, the meter guys, like that, there's a lot of potential customers there. If they were all paying,
Which
how
they
much
are.
money they're paying for their pilots?
Of course, I don't work for free.
That is a good answer.
I'm an academic. I did that. I did the work for free.
So how much are you getting in your pilot tests?
So pilot tests are actually really interesting. Utilities have this discretionary budget section that they have where they can just write checks, and they're usually about $100,000. Right.
Okay.
So utility, I can walk up to a utility, and most utilities within about 8 to 10 months, I can get $100,000 out of them.
And then when they roll out of pilot test, I'm assuming you're going to be making more than $100,000 a year from ATCO.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But we want to transition as quickly as possible to the submodel,
Great.
because that's where things get really exciting, right? So the reason that we want to do this, and the reason we can do this, is because we only need to do a very small set of these pilots in order to get onto the existing meters that are already here. So in North America, we have an incumbent space of 3 meter vending companies: Landis & Gyr, Itron, and whatever the third one, Centrus or whatever the hell, which occupies the last little bit. And we don't really concern ourselves with that one, because Landis and Itron are quite sufficient in terms of market penetration. The cool thing about the contracts that utilities have with these companies is that if a utility wants to try out a product like ours, they just have to tell Itron, give them the SDK.
Want to make sure we have time for the last question. Yeah.
Great pitch, really informative, and I really like what you're doing, so good job. The question that I have is, what's the advantage of running the model on the meter itself as opposed to just getting the data at the utility level using traditional AMI and then just running the model in the cloud? So that part wasn't clear to me.
There's 2 obvious things. So one, do you know how much time it takes for AMI meter data to get to your head end?
Like 24 hours.
Yeah. So for real-time operation, that makes it kind of unsatisfying. If you want to be able to coordinate things, which is what we're trying to do, you need to be able to act with that information. In addition, you're communicating a bunch of data that then has to be processed by the utility. We can do all of that processing on device and simply send the forecasts, which is a much more actionable piece of information, to operators, to planners, while also orchestrating the DERs that are there. It just makes things faster, and faster is funner.
Well done, Peter. Great pitch. Give me a hand. Way to be first. I don't know the next presenter. It's my fault. iFormat Solutions. Hey, how are you, man? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. Where are you in from?
Nova Scotia.
All right. Yeah, see? By the way, that got a bigger round of applause than Concordia did, so that's kind of bad news, right? So welcome aboard. 8 minutes, and I'll ask you questions after.
Good, thank you. Hardware is tough, but that is why we are in the business of hardware. No problem. So my name is Adbu, co-founder from Solution Incorporation. And I would just say, if I'm going to quickly start right now, I would say that I know many of you here you might, many of you here might have experienced utility bill, and any of you might have challenged your utility bill. So, which I grew up to see my parents do that, and my children are seeing me doing that right now. So, iFormit is simplifying metering technology by making it accessible to consumers. So, how are we doing that? I think I just shortly. Why a short story? When I moved to Canada in 2016 from Nigeria, precisely, and the first thing I saw, which is very cheaper, is utility bill, while living in a rented apartment. But one thing I see very expensive is rent. But when I moved into into our home house in 2020, our first utility bill was $1,200. We were running around the house. We couldn't know what to do. We called the NS Power. There was no answer to give to us. But all of that was just a big story. And today, 99% of utility consumers have meter in front of your house, anywhere in your house, but you don't know what is reading. If you can see what is reading, you could see over there, you don't understand. Even the utility bill is so complex, right? Look at what they go through is to find out, okay, what amount am I using? You will see the amount there, and that is where they start running around to call the utility bill, to make payment arrangement, a lot of that. And all of that has resulted to over 22 billion utility debt in North America alone, and across the world is around 76 trillion. Then, so, and energy regulatory board recorded over 30% of energy generated, 30% wasted at the consumption level. So those 30% are what we are targeting. So those have resulted into $22 trillion of utility debt. Of course, some other things also included with that. This has made a whole lot of impact on our grid, on our utility, on our environment, in everywhere. And you can see it also made government to not target the direct policy to make for the consumer for poverty energy reduction. Just imagine you waking up in the morning and you had your bath, make your breakfast, did everything, and all of that. When you came back in the night, you look at our IMM mirror, all you could see is $1. And $1 times 30, that's $30 in a month. So we are creating a kind of behavioral change, a behavioral change of the users and a behavioral change of the appliances. All of these are algorithm data we are gathering directly from the meter, not from every appliance that is connected to your heat pump or anything, directly from the meter. And this is also included. It's an inclusive kind of application for anybody. No matter your conditions, you can talk to it and ask, and it can tell you where the appliance is located within your household. How did this work? We just have a single HIMID connector. HIMID connector is connected to your electricity meter. We have achieved at least 80% of connection to the electricity meter. We have been communicating with different manufacturers of electricity meter, 4 of them with different standards, and we've achieved 80% connection with those meters with their protocol to communicate with them directly. We could put data for electricity meter now at over 95%. But for the other, we are working towards that to be able to gather all of those data. And DER, now consumers are becoming prosumer. So we are working towards that. This is a typical example of installation that we have done for the property managers recently, especially the rental property, small rental property owners. We, like I said, now, since I've been using this for the past 12 years, you could see my utility bill right now in our household. Just reduced, and the reason why you see that going up is because we have our Airbnb in our basement. So right now, who are we targeting? We first of all target the utility, very huge barrier to entry. So, and we now channel our market, we conduct a market. We're able to target the rental property owners who are facing huge challenge in terms of splitting the use within their property, with the rental property. So we target them, and they are the ones that we have used to capture our pilot that we run in started in 2014. And we are also looking into consumers. So what the milestone that we have achieved right now, we've had to save from the previous solution is 95,000 kilowatts. That has reduced to 125,000 kilowatts, and we've had to save 67,000 kilowatts. That's 44 CO2 reduction. And that's $12,000 for the 6 rental property owners, and that's average of around 600, around something 120 winter, then lower in the summer period. And huge market we are looking at here. Like you said, it's huge. It's difficult to run through the utility, but we currently have utility in Nova Scotia who has actually partnered with us. We've signed an MOU. We should be able to run the pilot finish. We've also have interest in Nigeria with 7 million customer base. Nigeria has 11 distribution companies, and we have 7 million. I mean, we have one of them has 7 million customer base, and we are talking to them right now. We also have in Colorado. We're talking to Colorado to also enter the US market and as well. So we don't do meter, but we are trying to connect with the customer. Through the customer, we can get to the utility. The utility have the power over the meter they are purchasing. So we can work with them, customize our solutions to work with the utility company, then the utility company deal with the meter company to provide our solutions to them so that we can talk to them. So our business model is very, we picked customer are currently paying $15.50 per meter that we supply. Then the utility also pays, if you run through the utility will pay, they pay $12.50 through, $15.50 through the utility. Then, so market strategy, we are building a structure now in Nova Scotia with a manufacturing company to deploy that solution across everywhere. And we have utility metering is highly regulated. So we want to make sure that anywhere we are providing our service, we're able to regulate that as well. So right now we've achieved about over 67,000 in our revenue, and we are going up to that. We want to reach about 10,000 revenue. So 3 million that we want to raise for just to increase our AI and other things. My team, and thank you very much. I think I just...
You did good. Do you want to go back to your, go back 2 slides to your ask?
Okay.
Yeah, what I just said is we'll leave your ask slide up for a second, and then
is it to the ask?
Yeah, just leave it there for a sec. Then people can read it, and then I'll ask you to flip to the team later, and they can have a look at that. I have to admit I don't quite get it yet, so I want to ask a quick question, but I want to ask this room first. So, how many people here in this room have an iron ring? Lots. Okay, that was a no-brainer. How many of you, and you're all in power, which is really good, how many of you can actually read your meter at home? See, that's a party trick. Like, you know, when you go on a Friday night and people are asking like the lawyer for, hey, can I ask advice? You guys should use that at a dinner party. It's really hard. I don't know how you do it. So that was really cool. You put the meter up, showed how difficult it is to read, and then you had the different sections for it. It is, for the great unwashed, something that we struggle with. But that leads me to where I don't get it. Are you selling a piece of hardware to the utility company or an app to me, the consumer, so I can run or look at my power consumption at home? Like, who's buying this from you?
Is both the hardware and the software.
Now, and the hardware goes, who's selling the hardware?
We to the consumers, we sell to the consumer.
Okay, so I don't need, say, ATCO's permission back in Calgary. I don't need their permission to take your hardware, stick it on my meter to tell me what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then I didn't understand your last slide then. You're talking with these power companies in Colorado and in Nova Scotia. What's their interest in talking with you?
I would say many of them have, like I said, the only one that we're currently dealing with right now is one of the small utility company, and because it's a big challenge for them to integrate into smart meter infrastructure, so we target them and they see what we are doing and they have much interest In fact, they actually wanted to try out 10 pieces with few customers, and they reached out to their customers. And because, most customers don't like, they're kind of reluctant to switch to smart metering system. But when they realize, those customers realize that they don't have to remove the meter, and we just have to attach our hardware on. And they were like, we got about more than 50 customers that shows interest that they want to pilot this.
You should put that story into your deck. That's very cool. Because again, I'm always paranoid when I get moved to smart metering. It's the company's way of trying to figure out how to get more money out of me, right? So that's very cool. Your story. Judges, any questions?
I guess as a follow-on a little bit to yours, Randy, does the value go beyond information for the customer, and is there any interaction that's going to come from the utility here based on the data that's recorded? Is it clearly you're giving this app to the customer, they get more information, they're going to be able to save money, but is it also providing information to the utility?
Exactly. It's just like getting the low hanging fruit. So all you need to do is because when the consumers' behaviors when they reduce their consumption, that automatically reduces the pressure on the grid. And if the utility is able to tell them, it's just like the road coming to this place, if it's usually, traffic early in the morning, if the management of the road knows how to pass the message to the road users to know when they will be applying the road, then there won't be need to expand the road. The only thing they need to do is just to manage the people applying the road. So that's what we are trying to do to make sure that we engage with the consumers change their behavior, they save the money, and at the same time, the utility is able to stabilize their grid.
Keith.
Maybe a follow-up question on that. If you're primarily selling these to the residential consumers of the large rental complexes, is there a secondary benefit that you can get through the utility? Like, is there revenue that you can gain through maybe demand response or aggregation programs that you can also leverage with this business model?
Yeah, definitely. Like one of the utilities that we're talking to now, the first question is that they are generating 60% of their consumption from renewable energy. And in winter, they are able to manage that without buying power from open market. So when they saw what we are doing, they said, if they could be able to, in winter, if they could be able to tell their consumers, be able to know when to tell their consumer to charge their electric car, when to tell them to use their heat pump, to use their washing machine or things like that, then they don't need to even buy from the open market. They could even sell the excess power in the open market. So these are the kind of advantage that I believe that will go to the utility directly. Our target is actually the utility, but because of the barrier, we have to target them from, and from there the whole thing can actually from the bottom up.
That was the answer I was looking for, because I couldn't figure out why you're talking to both sides of the equation. So thanks for asking that, Keith. That makes sense. Then, as a business model, why wouldn't you just have the power company charge me a monthly whatever fee, pay you whatever, and then they have to get all these units into all the houses? Like, that seems to be an easier distribution model for you.
If you do it through the utility, then we don't need to charge the consumers. So we supply the hardware to the utility, then we charge through the utility.
And you make stupid money doing that.
Yes.
So way easier business model, make stupid money.
That's
what I like that idea.
That's a go.
Any question from the floor? Got time for one question. Yes. So, Keith, can you? Yeah.
If you do go that model of going directly to the utility, are you going to get pushback from regulatory, from PUCs on, is there value enough for the general ratepayer to warrant an asset that will get, cost of service regulation, and they'll make money on the asset itself as well?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And one of the things, like I said, utility is a highly regulated industry, and we understand the industry very well. And the way we are doing that is to make sure that we comply with all the regulatory standard. And if we are able to do that, then, and we're able to get the utility interest, and I think the regulatory body, like, let me just say the UAIB in Nova Scotia, we've been talking to them regarding what we are doing, and they kind of interested, and they see it in the aspect of the consumer protection and consumer kind of interest, and at the same time, it's also the interest of the utility as well. So, and I think it's something that I wouldn't say at this point in time I have the right answer to that, but I can just definitely say that we'll work that through when we get there. Thank
I
you.
don't know is always fine, by the way. That was a great presentation. You did really well. Well done. Give me a hand.
you.
Oh, I'm out of time. I'm getting, if you were up here watching Anouk's eyes, I'm feeling the burn. So, and she left, so she stormed out in a huff. I'm going to do the next company a complete service by not butchering their name. It's spelled Hygge. Anybody want to take a guess? It's huge. There we go. Well done. Welcome aboard today.
Thank you very much.
And good luck. You wanted to use the wandering mic? Or do you want podium? Okay.
Thank
Welcome
you for
aboard.
that new name. In fact, my wife calls it Huggy, which is, so huge is still better. It's pronounced as Huga, as you can see on the top. Since 2017, we are based out of beautiful Waterfront Innovation Center, downtown Toronto, next to Sugar Beach. We have created a very unique platform to share and trade distributed renewable energy between households, small, medium, commercial customers, industrial customers, and currently we are mainly focused on rooftop solar. Wow. 10th of October this year, our platform was announced at Global FinTech Summit by Governor of Federal Bank in India in presence of Prime Minister of India and Prime Minister of United Kingdom. And it was because we are the first company to integrate climate tech with FinTech. So when you are able to share and trade renewable energy, you are also able to make money directly in your bank account, because we are based out of blockchain and we have got an artificial intelligence, which I'm going to talk about, and the money goes into your account. And we can integrate, currently we have integrated it with central bank digital currency. It can be integrated to stablecoin, which the current administration in US loves. And we can also integrate to crypto whenever it comes legal. We don't do anything which is illegal. Currently we have got 1,000 participants on our platform. And we have already traded almost $26,000 worth of renewable energy. What is the problem statement we are trying to address? And most of you are from the utility background. I spent a lot of time, started my career with a smart meter manufacturing company, worked for Ontario Power Authority. And what I realized is the solar business model is flawed. There is nothing wrong in the technology. It is the business model which has the flaw. Because if you guys understand utilities, it works in a monopolistic market and they are not allowed to make any money on the sale of electricity. What they can do is they can make fixed return on asset for their cost, and their cost includes salary and wages. It includes the maintenance and outage cost. It also includes any new construction development where they put wires and transformers. And then the total cost is divided by the electricity, and it's a very simple language. The total cost is divided by number of electrons they sell, the kilowatt hour they sell, and that defines the price of electricity. Now, what happens if there is distributed solar which is getting installed? Then utilities are selling lesser electricity, which put a pressure on the price. And there is a very interesting white paper from Hawaii, that after 12 to 13% of solar penetration, the price of electricity hits the roof. In Arizona, I personally stood in the court where they brought a stay order on rooftop solar. In California, after spending $80 billion, they stopped the net metering program. So there is the flaw that utilities do not get paid for the return of asset for two-way distribution, where solar is getting absorbed by the grid, and the grid is also providing the same customers, solar customers, during the night time. So that is the flaw, and distribution utilities needs to be compensated. And that is the solution which we have created. We have figured out that gap. So what we have done is nothing, no electrical engineering, no electricity. I'm not from Concordia, or I'm not from McGill. I'm from University of Toronto. And what we have done is simple accounting. So accounting is we record, track, and allocate this renewable energy. So at 10:01 a.m., if my rooftop solar is generating 10 units of electricity, I record it, I track it, and I allocate it to the highest carbon emission resource within my community. It can be a EV charging operation which is happening by my neighbor, or in industrial context, it can be a steel manufacturing or cement manufacturing, which is hard to abate industry. So the sweet spot or the icing on the cake is we also track carbon emission and carbon credits, which the platform is not ready. Right now, we are just doing trading of renewable energy. This is possible because of some of the common sense patents which we already have received. The first patent, as I mentioned, is tracking, recording of renewable energy and allocating it to the resource. We are doing it by embedded AI, and Peter, thank you for all the explanations. We are doing exactly what you suggested. We are embedding this artificial intelligence and blockchain on meters, and we are tracking it on meters, nothing to push to the cloud. Now imagine about this, a contract and the payment can be done through the meter. Why you need a billing engine, right? So that's the, and then we are getting into carbon credits where we are tokenizing electricity. Big market, but we are not trying to boil the ocean. Two markets we are focused on: India, which is about $17 billion, and then Midwest US, which is roughly about $23 billion, where there is absolutely no penetration of solar, mainly because of the flaw in the business model of the utilities. Our strategy, tough one, but we have been successful, is we target the regulators. We work with the regulators. So not only on the electricity side, but we also work on the monetary side, and that's what we have proven that we can do it. Recurring business comes from the license from the utilities and from the service providers. These are the guys who are feet on the ground. They are installing solar panels, and they service the customers. And then there is a recurring revenue on every transaction which happens, which is Airbnb, Uber model. So typically, just to give you an idea, 100 homes, 2.7 million transactions every year. And these are our revenues. Last year, we turned around. We did about $750,000, made a little profit of $12,000. At the top, we feel lonely. I love to say that it's not there, but Tesla is one competitor which we are wary of, because they are coming from the hardware side. They are installing solar battery, but they don't have a software to track and then get the benefit of carbon credits. We are looking for 5.5 million seed investment, mainly to expand and grow. This is our team. As I mentioned, I spent a lot of time with the Ontario Power Authority. I was the demand response design manager. Started my career from a smart meter company. My partner, co-founder, sits in Silicon Valley, advises the largest clean tech fund, which is Capricorn. And you can see almost who's who of the industry have put their name behind us. We have got Stanford, CEO of Oakville Hydro, CEO of Kentucky, KEC, and then some of the utility CEOs. Thank you, and that's what Huga means.
Well done, Pratik. Okay, Huga it is. I'm going to ask an investor question first. So hypothetically, I've got two ways I want to tackle this. So hypothetically, I put $5 million in. Am I buying equity? Is it a convertible loan? Or am I getting distribution off of this? Like, am I getting a piece of the revenue that's flowing through the system? How are you treating my seed investment?
So seed investment is purely equity. And I laugh at global public forums. that we are blessed. We all are blessed that we do business from Canada. And we get a lot of grants here. And recently we qualified for a IRAP grant, which was focused for India. That's why we were able to do this project. So I'm not looking for something where I need cash flow. I think I'm good enough for cash flow because not only we are generating revenue, but I think the trick here is how to remain at the top, because remaining at the top is the most challenging thing. And you have to keep on innovating. What we have achieved today, in 6 months' time, my competition will reach there. So I need to be one step ahead of them. And so the equity would be used for creating the next generation of the product, which we want to get into is carbon credits.
Okay, that makes sense. That answered about 3 questions. Then I'm going to ask a different question. So I live in a 4-acre community in Calgary, and we have a water co-op, but we could do an energy co-op as an example. So let's say the 70 homes, we all get together, we give Huga a call, all of a sudden we've got our own little mini generator system going. How would the money flow from that? Like, would we collect it? Is it the individual homes that are collecting the power that they're selling back? Like, you've got a whole revenue sharing system going on.
Yeah. So that is our target market. To be honest, if what I was talking about Midwest US, 3,000 co-op utilities, and we did try your utility in Alberta. So the revenue model is very, very simple. You as a utility still are connected with us, but I hate to say that coming from the utility background, that more we make life easier for a utility, more happy they will be with me as a service provider. So I do all the payment collection and settlement, but I send them a line item of how much is traded. They are interested in units. They are not interested in monetary value of that unit. So I just send that line item to them, which get adjusted to your bill whenever they produce their bill, and it can be monthly or whatever.
And then my co-op, I'm actually the youngest person in the co-op, so we have a problem, okay? Some of my brothers and sisters probably don't want crypto landing in the bank account, right? So do you deal in also, as a fintech, you've got lots of flexibility is what I was going to go to.
No, so we do not indulge in, first thing is electricity, we all have to understand, is a very, very low margin commodity. You cannot build a big layer of your solution. So you have to operate within a smaller layer. And that smaller layer can be CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, and is legal. That's what we have done here. In US, the type of vibes we are getting, they are saying that stable coin is legal. So we are actually working in Kentucky with the current administration to ensure that it is connected to stable coin. Then there are some countries who, like Australia, they are doing crypto, but we are not going there.
Interesting. Lisa, you've got a question.
I think one of the questions that I had.
Sorry.
That's fine. So how are you explained about the transactions. How is the price determined? Is it, is it indexed?
Okay, so I'll give you a live example. The currency is different because it's Indian currency, but you can get the context. So in India, where we are operating right now, the retail price of electricity is 5.8, say dollars or cents. And the wholesale price is 2.8. A solar customer can sell back to the grid at 2.8 cents. A retail consumer who does not have solar buy at 5.8. What we have done is we have created an app, which is like a stock trading app. So both consumer and prosumers have got an app, and they say, I want to sell it at 4 rupees 60 paisa, for example. The consumer would say, I want at 4 rupees 80 paisa. That's where regulation comes in play. So regulation defines what is the algorithm on the settlement price. And we are mini ISO sort of thing on an app. So the regulation is weighted average. So if it is 4.6, 10 units, 4.8, 5 units, the weighted average divided by 15 is what is the arrived price, and it can be 4.7. So that's how, and then once the settlement price is day prior. So at 6 p.m., it's logged, settlement price is announced, and then they get a flexibility of whether to accept it or not to accept it. Once they accept it, then their contract is leaned. So that amount is get as a security with the CBDC wallet. That's where the whole blockchain thing comes in play. And then after validation, the money is transferred.
Very well thought out. Supplemental or no? Got time for one question from the floor, anybody? No? Sorry to cut you off last time. Okay, in 5 years, nobody's asked that question before. But the answer would be no. Sorry. That would be Pratik's up here being awkward. Yeah. Yeah.
So as I understand it, your model makes it better for the solar producer because he's making more than he would have selling the utility. But the utility's problem is the same. The solar is still going to drive up rates.
I did not answer Lisa's question incomplete.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'll say it again with the mic. As I understand it, your system is better for the solar producer because he can sell at a higher price than the utility would have paid. But the effect for the utility is still the same. And the upward pressure on rates remains. Is that right?
So yeah, I did not answer Lisa's question incomplete. So how the transaction happens is now a solar customer or presumer is not able to, is not selling at 2.8, but selling at 4.6 or 4.7. And then consumer is not buying at 5.8, but buying at 4.7. In the regulations, what we were able to influence was there is a small platform fees and there is a fees for the utility for the distribution charges. And so I don't publicly reveal what is the platform fees, but it is substantial. It's like 14 cents per unit of transaction, and the utility makes 7 cents per the transaction. So they make a lot of money for every transaction. We make a lot of money. Everybody is happy. The consumer is happy, presumer is happy, utility is happy.
I love the fact that we just had a really technical dive through and nobody cared about anything except the money. That made me happy, by the way. Pratik, that was great. Well done. Thank you so much. Yeah. We have one more to go, but I was thinking about you, sir. I was thinking I better have a better answer than nobody's asked that before. I have my answer, which is, well, remember, you're all here to help these companies become better, meet customers, etc. So when we have a coffee break, please go up to all the founders and we'll have them all stand at the end and wave and go ask the questions or figure out how you're going to get solar on your roof to start paying its bills for you. So Elastic Energy, I apologize. Elastic Energy. Yay! There we are. How are you, my friends? Welcome aboard. Do you want to do the platform mic or this mic? There you go. Good luck.
Check. Can I go back? Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steven, an engineer at Elastic Energy. We are a team of electricians, experienced operators, and product developers who have deployed hardware and software at scale. I actually recently joined the team, and I hope you all have humor for all the questions I have for you all. I joined Elastic the moment I understood that what Elastic means for the future of energy. It was clear to me. This is the most planet-scale engineering challenge I could work on. We humans have fallen in love with electrifying everything. Transportation, heating, industry. Electricity makes everything better. When Thomas Edison built the first commercial power plant on Pearl Street 143 years ago, he did it because people demanded electric light. And it made every business better. Today, electrification is the inevitable and optimal end state for every home, every building, and every industry. But here's the problem. You are trying to run fast and programmable, energy-hungry technology on a grid that was designed for slow and predictable technology. And if we want to make the complete transition without spending billions of dollars to try to use the existing capacity of the current grid, we need to make grid interactivity the default. How do we do that? At Elastic Energy, we make default grid interactivity possible. We have a little black box, a software platform, and we model devices on sub-milliseconds telemetry and AI orchestration. We connect, characterize, coordinate, commoditize everything so that companies installing the DERs don't have to. There is a group of people who touch every site. Installers, solar crews, HVA teams, battery financiers, fleet operators. These teams are the final touch point of every device that gets installed. They are the best positioned to make this capacity the default. Most incentivized to create new ways to generate revenue, but yet least technically empowered to make it happen. Grid interactivity at the intersection of effortless and high performance is that path. This is the Elastic Energy Router, and this is how we do it. A small, mighty device that connects, that is installed behind the meter and connects to major DER. It connects regardless of the protocol. It characterizes, modeling exact grid capabilities. It coordinates millions of devices and sites and ones nearby. And it commoditizes, allowing every shippable, exportable kilowatt hour to the highest bidder, not just stuck in the suboptimal revenue stack. And it gives every building an energy agent to optimize for real-time conditions. And to this day, I'm still blown on how all of this is packed into this small black box. And it does this without installers having to learn anything new. If you can plug in a laptop, you can install an energy router. What I'm learning is that effortless distribution and high performance of DER control is just the beginning. The grid is becoming a two-tier system. The core layer, the one beneath us. It is controlled by the DSOs, balance authorities, major utilities, It manages the safety, reliability, and long-term planning. Many people who are here, you operate on this layer every day. You're consistently thinking about the capacity constraint of an aging and under-instrumented system. But there is a new layer, a fast layer, emerging around it. A layer built on precise models, and a layer that can connect to millions of devices. This fast layer complements the old layer traditional operations without needing massive redesign. And if millions of sites can connect by default and interact with the grid, this layer becomes inevitable. I'm here as a missionary. Elastic Energy is looking for partners, installers, policymakers, designers, who sees this future and want to partner with us. If this interests you, come look for me, and I will connect you with the rest of the team. Thank you.
Well done. I'm going to ask a couple of quick questions, and I'll turn over the. So, how far along is Elastic with the, as you call it, the little black box? Like, have you guys tested it? Is it working? Do you have customers? Where is it in the cycle?
Yeah, we're just starting.
Okay.
I think we've closed our deal very close, but very soon. But if you want more, I can connect you with the CEO.
Well done. Well done. The other question then, of course, would be, have you started? I really like the idea that we're not utilizing the players that are actually in the houses. Like they actually show up doing the installing, etc. Have you talked with any of the companies? Like, are you gonna own your own installation company, or are you going to? Is that your customer at the end of the day? Is the installers?
Again, I can connect you with
The
it.
CEO.
Yes.
Okay, good. You might want to drag them up. Actually.
But we create the software, the hardware. We have the box.
That part I got. Yeah.
It's easy to plug in, and it's the coordinator of DR sending your.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering who's going to pay for this at the end of the day. Is really the base question I was going to ask.
You have to ask.
Okay. Good. Questions for the judges? Oh, yes. No, I'll get you at the break. No, I'm kidding.
So on the slide where you said the box is behind the meter and it was as easy to use as plugging in a laptop, I automatically thought of a home, a single family residence as the building, but it didn't seem to make sense to be able to manage power within my building. So I guess the simple question is, what is the scope of a building? Are we talking about a duplex, a townhouse, a condo, a big apartment building, a commercial?
The target is every building. Now you're starting with homes, but that's the goal.
So you're going to start with homes, move to MDUs, and then go commercial.
I think so, but I'm not sure. I'll connect you with the CEO.
What does it mean to manage the power within my home?
I think it means to give you power to control your utility bills, to know when you need energy in your home and when you don't need it, and you can sell it to the high speeder.
Yes.
On that part, yes, I think so.
Is the CEO here? Is that Andrea from the team here?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
And as I said, I just joined a few weeks ago. I'm a missionary, and
I totally know why you're here. You're the pitch guy.
I am the pitch guy.
You're the pitch guy. I like you. Okay. Any other questions? One other question? Judges? Yeah. Or not judges?
No, I'm not a judge again. Just putting it out there. Not a judge. So this is really interesting. There's companies like Copper Home that make, I don't know if you've heard of them. They have like a battery coupled induction stove that people basically install in their homes. and then it's a battery with an induction stove built in, so it's like a built-in DER. There's also other companies like Reservoir that are building super smart electrical hot water tanks that are kind of used as energy storage as well. Why would companies like that give up the control and software layer of their distributed orchestration to a company like you guys when they could have that direct link to the customer themselves?
So we are not focused on one little device or one stream. And people, we don't like to learn new stuff. I don't want to learn how this works, this. I just want it to work. Just plug and play. So that's the thing. We are going to work with the devices, the different devices and different systems that we can support, and then that is done automatically.
But why would they want to work with you?
You say it again.
Look, for me, I'll connect with the CEO. Yeah.
Well played. Well played. Great work, Stephen. Thank you so much. Good work.